In today's video, we will be doing a bullet journal plan with me for February 2020. So grab your journals and a cup of coffee and let's get started. Can you believe that January is almost over and it is time for February to begin? I am so excited to share with you guys my very first Plan With Me video, and this month's theme was actually inspired by Shayda Campbell, a fellow bullet journaler here on YouTube, and I will link her channel down below. She had an amazing idea of having each month's theme be the birth flower, and the birth flower for February is violets. So I took inspiration from her and chose violets as my theme for February. Starting with the cover page, I got a little creative and created a drawing with the violets that I chose, and you can also see here a representation of the colors that I've picked out for the month. One of the tricks that I use to make my bullet journals creative but not too overwhelming is I have a set of Crayola Super Tips, and I pick 6 or 7 colors that go with the theme for each month. So I have a bunch of purples and some greens picked out for the month of February, and I keep those in my pen case throughout the month. That way I have some beautiful colors but not too many choices to pick from. If you are interested in any of the other supplies that I use for my bullet journal setup, I have a video coming out in the next week or two all about what supplies I use in my bullet journal setup. So hit the subscribe button if you want to be one of the first to see that video go live. Flipping over to the next page is my monthly spread, and as you can see, I like to lay everything out in pencil ahead of time, and I've included an area where I can have a beautiful drawing of my violets, but I also have a nice big section for my monthly spread. I like to have ample space in order to do all of my planning. That way, when I transition everything over to my weekly spreads, it is very clear and easy for me to do so. The other thing that I have in my monthly spread is on the left-hand side, I have a space where I can put all of my goals. I like to have my annual goals broken down into quarterly goals and then my monthly goals. So on my monthly spread, I break those down into personal and professional goals. And the way that I've done it this month is by having all of my personal goals on the top left-hand side and all of my professional goals on the bottom right. I've left them blank for now because I haven't quite finished January, so I'm not sure what I'm going to be putting there as far as my goals go, but I will be having a video in the future sharing with you exactly how I break down my goals from annual goals all the way down into my monthly goals. The following page is where I keep track of all my social media and YouTube content. This is a very simple spread that I fill in when I'm doing my social media batching, which I like to do at the beginning of every month. So this is really only applicable to people who have a social media presence, but it is essential for my sanity and for my planning schedule. Turning over to the next page is where I will be keeping track of all the bills that I have for the month of February, as well as a brain dump page that I'm able to put all my thoughts down throughout the month. I first tried this brain dump page last month. I've seen it in several other videos, but I just haven't utilized it in the past, and I really enjoyed having it in my monthly spread, so I am including it again in February. Then the last page that I have for you today in this Plan With Me video is my very first weekly spread. This is going to be week 6 of quarter 1, which means that we are halfway through the first quarter. So if you are like me and you have your quarterly goals laid out, then we are halfway through reaching those quarterly goals. So I personally did just a very quick review of my quarterly goals throughout this Plan With Me and made sure that I am on track to be finishing all those quarterly goals and that nothing is being left behind. So if you are like me and have quarterly goals, make sure you take a quick peek at those and ensure that you are on track to be completing all those goals by the end of the quarter. Now, to share with you a little bit about how I set up my weekly spreads, I do essentially the same thing every single week, and that is to have a vertical layout for the entire week where I am able to put down all of the things I have on my schedule and anything that may be time sensitive. Then on the bottom section is where I lay out all of my personal and professional goals that can be broken down even further into my weekly spread. And then on the bottom right hand side, if I have a habit tracker, that is where it goes. I didn't create one this week just because I still have a newborn at home and keeping track of habits just hasn't started happening yet, and I am very excited to get my life back together and start keeping track of those more essential things like a habit tracker and my meal plan and all the other things that I used to keep up with in my bullet journal before I added another baby to the family. So that is my setup for February of 2020. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you would like more inspiration, I will link Shayda Campbell's channel as well as the playlist with all of my Plan With Me's. That way you have plenty of inspiration for your bullet journal. Until next time, remember, I am proud of you. Keep doing the hard things, and we will see you in the next video.